here I am with another monthly recap. It's the end of June, and where has this year gone? Basically in lockdown. I don't know, it's been a really weird year. But the cinemas are finally reopening, and I'm really excited for that. But first off, my monthly recap. So I actually didn't watch that many movies this month. I mainly watched a few TV shows and got into some video games. So first off, the movies. I watched Keep Watching. I should not have Keep Watching. It was a really boring movie. Basically, it's this premise of this family in this house and there's video cameras around filming them. There's nothing exciting about this film. It is really boring. I ended up fast forwarding through most of it because I just wanted to get to the end and just for it to be over. So don't watch Keep Watching. The next film, I originally wasn't interested in this film because based off the trailer it looked like it was badly dubbed and just looked kind of horrible. But everyone was talking about this film and how bad it was, so curiosity got the best of me. And I watched 365 Days. This film, whoa. So there's a lot of problems with this storyline. Obviously, this man kidnaps a woman and basically says, you have 365 days to fall in love with me. I'm keeping you hostage during this time, but I'm going to take you shopping so you can buy all this fancy clothing. I'm going to take you out, but you are my prisoner and you're going to fall in love with me. And basically, as we expect it to go, I mean, 50 Shades of Grey went the same way. 2 months later, she's already in love with him and, you know, they're going to live happily ever after. And then there's this massive cliffhanger, which... So, while this film has a million problems, the sex scenes are pretty decent. I mean, that's why most people are watching this film. They want the sex scenes. They don't really care about the story. And the acting is really average at best, but the guy is incredibly attractive. So if you're just looking at the actor and you're not paying attention to, hey, this character's a piece of shit, it's actually pretty decent to watch. So it's not the worst film I've watched, but I am making my best friend watch it right now, and his messages to me of like, what did I do to wrong you? What did I do to deserve this punishment? Are hilarious. So watch at your own risk. The TV shows, there was a lot of new seasons coming out this month. So you had season 4 of 13 Reasons Why and F is for Family, season 4. So I jumped straight into both of them. 13 Reasons Why, I'm so glad this piece of shit show is over because I loved season 1, which was obviously based off the book. So they started to use their own creative differences between the cast and crew to kind of create the next season. Season 2 was okay. Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't shit. It was okay. Season 3 was I actually have a rant video about season 3, so you can go check that out, but I was not a fan. And season 4, I don't even know what they were thinking with this garbage season. Every character's a piece of shit. All the development they did got thrown out the window. Don't even get me started on Clay, because he was just useless. The only character I really loved in this season was Justin. Like, he had the best character development, and then he was fucked the most. Like, I've never seen a character so badly mistreated and get such a horrible ending. Like, Justin deserved better, and they really wronged him. I'm still not over it. F is for Family. I love this show. It's absolutely hilarious, but season 4 was a bit of a letdown. It wasn't that funny overall. Probably the funniest joke all season is in the first 5 minutes of episode 1 where he says something to a nun. I cracked up laughing for like a good 5 minutes. And then while there's some funny jokes after it, it's just not as good as the rest of the seasons. This one's more about his relationship with his father, so it's kind of more emotional. Kind of like how BoJack Horseman went. It was funny, but it got really emotional. The season 4 kind of gets more emotional, but just doesn't pull it off as well as a comedy. So, a little disappointed, but still enjoyed it. I finally started catching up with Lethal Weapon. So this show only had 3 seasons. It was cancelled. So I finished season 2 finally. For people that have seen the show or may not have seen the show, this is a spoiler warning, but in season 2, they actually kill one of the main characters. I understand why they did this, because the actor himself was kind of a really unprofessional person on set, but it was a really incredibly sad watching the character die. And I do miss the character going to season 3, but I like that they've introduced Cole. He's an interesting character, but I do miss this other character. So at the moment I'm watching season 3. So I'll talk more about Lethal Weapon coming, but I'm not surprised that they did cancel it. Stranger Things, I finally watched. Everyone's like, oh, you should watch Stranger Things. It's amazing. I watched one episode. I'm like, this is boring. But this is when the show originally came out. And everyone's like, oh, it's so good. You have to give it a second chance. But season 3 is garbage. I'm like, well, why would I want to watch a show where the last season was garbage? Like, that's weird. And then a lot of people were like, no, season 3 is really good. So I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I'm too curious to not see for myself. I have no like curiosity of whether people are telling me the truth or whether something's good or bad. It has got me in a lot of shit situations. But I dived right in. Season 1 is a bit boring. I wasn't that into season 1. Like, the storyline surrounding Will is interesting, but I kind of find Will a boring character overall. And then the way people talked about Barb, I thought she was more of a big deal, but she's basically there and gone, like, instantly. Season 2 was better than season 1, but I still wasn't like a huge fan of it. But I actually really liked season 3. It was really different. They really got into the more of the comedy aspects of it, especially with Steve. Like, he was kind of a douche in the first 2 seasons, but I really liked him in this. I like Nancy and Jonathan together. Billy, the whole story with him, like, I got really interested in his story, and then of course at the end they make me feel for him, and they're like, no, he's dead now, like, ah. And then of course Jim, like, I've seen how they talk about season 4 that Jim's not really dead, but I'm just like, feelings. So I finally watched Stranger Things and I did like it. It's kind of one of those shows that I don't really understand the full obsession that people have with it, but I did enjoy it. The next show I've started watching, so I'm about midway through season 1, is The Order. So this one's kind of werewolves versus witches. It's different. It's not the best show in the world, but it's not bad by any means. There's a lot of puns and a lot of stupid jokes, which I appreciate. It's kind of Teen Wolf and the Vampire Diaries kind of thrown together. So again, it's not an original show by any means, but I am enjoying it for what it is. Moving on to the video games. So I finally played Life is Strange 2. I enjoyed the first one for what it was, but I wasn't a huge fan. Like, everyone was making it out to be this masterpiece of a game. I liked it, but I just didn't get that huge obsession like other people did. And Life is Strange 2 was just straight up garbage. I didn't give a shit about the characters. They were basically whiny little brat kids. I got sick of all the racist bigotry bullshit, because other than these 2 characters, pretty much everyone else was a racist douchebag. There was a lot of religious garbage in it. There was basically the good people they come across were all weed smokers and delinquents. I'm just like, I don't know who I'm meant to like in this game. I don't really like anyone. And it just kept dragging on and on. It felt like it went forever. And so while I'm glad, like, I finally played it, it's out of the way, I regret buying it to begin with because it was boring. I just didn't get into it. Another game that I was super excited for and then had a very love-hate relationship with, which I imagine a lot of people did have similar emotions. I know it's gotten a lot of flag, but this is The Last of Us Part 2. So I actually managed to avoid all the spoilers. So when it leaked, I managed to avoid that. I didn't watch any of the new trailers. I avoided everything. I threatened my friends. I'm like, if you spoil anything for me, it's the last thing you'll ever do. I was very intense about this game. So when it came out, Obviously, I had my own theories based off trailers. As soon as they announced another game, I'm like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. So there are some things I was right about. But to avoid all spoilers, something happened towards the start of the game and it pissed me off. Now, I know like a lot of people have already seen spoilers or have already read the reviews or watched reviews. There was just something that pissed me off to an extreme extent that I was just angry and so upset that I basically just wanted to cry and not continue playing the game. Might sound dramatic, but I was really excited for this game and I just felt let down. And everyone like was telling me, oh, you're going to hate this game. You're going to hate this game. I'm like, no, I'm going to love this game. They're like, no matter what. And I was just kind of more angry, not what the game did or the writers did, but that I was so desperate to prove my friends wrong. Like, no, I'm going to enjoy it. I don't care what you say. And so, again, it does sound a bit crazy, but the start of the game, I'm like, oh, this is fucking bullshit. Like, I would just absolutely hate it. I was so angry. I just didn't want to play the game. So basically, I had this whole weekend where I was going to dedicate to the game, but I took my time to play through it, and I actually really loved the gameplay. They have changed the gameplay so much. You can actually play it really stealth-like. You can sneak through the grass and sneak up on people that way. I used to hate stealth games, but now we can do it this way. We can do either or. You're not forced to do it either way. I really enjoy it. The way you can fight the clickers is much easier in this one than in the original one. The way the infected changed, while I don't really like the new infected designs, just because they're really hard to fight, it's more easier to just run away from them. That's a bit annoying. I'd rather just fight the enemies rather than having to run away. And then the story itself, this one is more human versus human rather than the infected, which in a way I'm kind of glad that they moved away from the infected, because at the start they start talking about hordes. And I'm like, if I was going to fight a horde, I'd just play Days Gone, because I really love Days Gone. Like, I don't want to fight hordes in this. So I was kind of glad they moved away from it. It was more human versus human. But at the same time, I'm like, this is meant to be like a zombie apocalypse game. Can we at least have a bit more of that? And there was one group called The Scars. And they reminded me a lot of kind of the cult in Days Gone. So a lot of stuff was reminding me of Days Gone. And it was just kind of annoying me because I don't want to play a copy of another game when I can just play the original game. And then the things that they did do differently is what a lot of the loyal fans hate. So I was like I'm going to be open-minded and give it a chance. And as a lot of people know, you do play as two characters, like they did that in the first one. They're doing it in this one. And to not save you from spoilers, after I spent so much more time with the other character, I actually really started to understand and appreciate the story and the different views that it was telling. And just going into the ending, basically, when I had the shits with the game, I'm like, I need to know how it ends so I don't get my hopes up again and then let down. So I did look into the ending. I know how it ended before getting there. And I'm like, I'm going to hate this ending. It's going to be bullshit. But when I finally got to it, I'm like, no. This is the only ending, really, that would have made sense. This is the ending that's fitting. So I don't want to talk about spoilers. If you haven't played The Last of Us, if you're buying into the hype of everyone hating this game, like, just play it for yourself. Like, don't play it right now when it's like $70 when you think you might hate it. Wait until it drops down to $25 and then play it for yourself. Don't just openly hate on this game. There's a lot of people hating on it, my partner included, that's like, oh, it's feminist propaganda, it's sexist, it's all this religious LGBT in your face. Like, no, okay? Ellie has always been gay. We have loved Ellie from day one. I don't care about her sexuality. Whatever she wants to do, go girl. Same with Diana. I love her. Everyone's saying Abby is a trans character. Play the fucking game. You're an idiot. There is a trans character and they are fucking badass. I love them. I love that character so much. I want to talk more about them, but like, spoilers, guys. So don't listen to those stupid people that are like, oh, Like, it's just, you've let tumblers write the story. You've, like, all this feminist propaganda, political agenda. Like, nah. No, man. Just go play the game for yourself. And trust me, you'll either love it or you'll hate it. But at least you'll have your own opinion on the game and not just copying someone else. And the next game that I played was Remnant from the Ashes. So basically one of my friends told me about this game. He's like, it's Dark Souls but with guns. I love Dark Souls. I like shooting games. So I'm like, sign me up. So I just finished the first playthrough last night, finished the story. The story is actually really interesting. And a lot of the gameplay actually reminded me of The Last of Us, because you've got like all this fungi growing up, all the buildings are kind of abandoned, but then you move through a world. So you've got Earth, you've got kind of this rainforest place, you've got this desert type place. And it's about this root taking over the Earth, basically. And there's a really interesting story. I do have a lot of glitches with my copy. I got the error screen about 4 times last night. I got some lag because I was playing it. So you can play it offline. So I was just playing it online with friends only. So there's different modes. There's online, so anyone can join you. There's online where only people on your friends list can join you. And there's offline. So I usually just automatically go to online, just because if it's like Dark Souls, there might be summon signs or there might be something else you might miss. So generally, if I'm playing a game for the first time that's online based, I will partially go for the online. But I also hate random people joining me. So this seemed like the safest aspect. Also, I wasn't sure if my friend Michael would want to join in the game, but he's like, I haven't played in about 6 months. So I don't even think he has on his console anymore. But I really enjoyed it for what it was. It's really fun just running around shooting things. The guns, the weapons are really cool. The melee weapons are great. Some of the characters you talk to are interesting. There's one character I hate because she's just very bitchy. But yeah, if you like the Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Code Vein type games, you will enjoy this. It's not as hard as them ones. This one's probably the easiest. Except one boss I did not have a fun time with. It's kind of like a butterfly on one side and another one on the other side. And you're like in the middle of this platform. Not fun. Sorry. I do not have corona. So yeah. Remnant from the Ashes. Definitely worth checking out. I got it for $40 on sale. And there's now DLC out that I haven't checked, but that's about $15. And then some more board games. So, I finally played Potion Explosion. Basically a game designed for kids. It comes with these really cute marbles I just love playing with. Really simple game. Lots of fun to play. We've had my work for forever, basically. And we sell it for $30. Cut down from $80. It's a really cheap game that like the box doesn't really show much information. So I just decided, like, I never know how to explain this game because obviously I haven't played it. Really glad I bought it. It's really fun to play with. And even if you don't want to play it properly, just playing with the marbles is fun enough. So Potion Explosion, I'm really glad I finally got to play. Deception in Hong Kong. Very similar to Cluedo, Mysterion. You're trying to solve a murder, but it works in a way Werewolf does or Secret Hitler. Someone is playing the role of the murderer and they're picking the weapons, and then you go around the table and come up with an idea of, like, it was this weapon because there was a severe injury, and the person playing the narrator is picking how to give you these clues, where it might have occurred, whether it was severe injury, poisoning, so you can kind of rule out what caused it. So it's very interesting and lots of fun to play with my work colleagues. We got pretty into it, arguing, and I really enjoyed it. Cannot wait to make my friends play it. And the last board game was Oceans. The box on this is completely gorgeous. Creating the fish and having a species of fish is really cool. The book is quite long, so the rule book is very lengthy, and a little confusing at first, but I did really enjoy the game for what I've played of it so far. I would really like to replay it. But yeah, it was really cool because like last month I played Man-Eater, so like all these whole cool evolution of fish and getting apex were really cool, and now there's this board game which is basically the same idea. You create fish, you evolve them, feed them, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and you could battle each other, and just the way they made it, it's really cool. So yeah, there wasn't much this month. So the movies were Keep Watching in 365 Days. Not fantastic movies, but I enjoyed them for what they were. TV shows, 13 Reasons Why Season 4, straight up garbage. F is for Family Season 4, not the best season, but if you like the show, check it. Lethal Weapon, the show has been cancelled, but it's a really funny show. I enjoy it. So again, check that out if you haven't seen it yet and enjoyed the movies. You might want to check it out. Stranger Things, finally one of the people that watched it. I'm not obsessed with it. I liked it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm kind of in the middle. And The Order, I haven't fully made up my mind whether I like it or not, but I am halfway through season 1. And I probably will watch all of them because that's just who I am as a person. Life is Strange 2 was garbage. The Last of Us 2. Play it for yourself and make up your own opinion. Don't listen to everyone else because a lot of people are just buying into the fad and not coming up with their own opinion. Remnant from the Ashes, fantastic. Get on it. I just hope you don't get as many errors as I have. Board games, Potion Explosion, Deception in Hong Kong, and Oceans. As always, thank you for watching. I'm so excited that the cinemas are back in July, even though pretty much every movie has been delayed, so I have no idea what's coming out. And new video games coming out next month. Yeah. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what movies you've been watching, TV shows you've been watching. Recommend me some TV shows or movies. What video games? What did you think of The Last of Us? Board games. I didn't really read any books this month. Being a bit lazy there, but pretty much delved my emotions into video games. So yeah. As always, thank you and goodbye.